New developments this morning after a man was found dead with multiple gunshot wounds in South Jordan, the second arrest in this investigation. Leaders reacting to the passing of President Jeffrey R. Holland, how you can say goodbye as his funeral is now set for this Wednesday. And nasty weather across the country, how holiday travel could be impacted.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us on this Monday morning for KSL News Now. I'm Lori Pritchard. We'll get to those stories in just a bit. But first, Devin Mashuli in for Matt Johnson this morning. Yeah. Finally feels like winter.
Yes.
But we could go back to feeling like fall again.
Very quickly, yeah. Unfortunately, in the 7-day forecast, you will see in just a little bit, we are just going to gradually warm right back up. The weekend storm that we had and the northerly breeze that we have in place right now is keeping temperatures cold to start. 16 degrees in Logan right now, 20 degrees in Brigham City, Ogden, Lehigh, Provo, 12 degrees in Nephi, 15 in Richfield, and then southwestern Utah, 18 degrees in Cedar City, and then mid-30s in St. George. Plenty of sunshine out there right now, and that's exactly what we're going to see for the rest of the day today, with highs warming into the mid to upper 30s for Salt Lake and other areas along the Wasatch Front. Logan will warm into the low to mid-30s this afternoon, and then St. George will be right around 50 degrees. We are expecting lots of sunshine through the entire state today and tomorrow, thanks to high pressure moving in. We are tracking a storm system to move through New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, so we'll talk a little bit more about what's coming as well as how warm temperatures are going to warm in just a little bit.
All right, Devin, thank you. Funeral plans have been announced for President Jeffrey R. Holland of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. He passed away early Saturday morning at the age of 85. And news specialist Emma Benson joins us live this morning with more on funeral plans. Emma, good morning.
Good morning, Lori. Yes, funeral services for President Holland will be held this Wednesday, New Year's Eve at 11 a.m. here downtown Salt Lake City in the Tabernacle on Temple Square. President Holland was a beloved and often quoted leader of the church. He was called as a general authority in 1989 and then ordained an apostle in 1994. On October 14th of this year, he became president of the Quorum of the 12 when the new first presidency was announced. Just a few days later, he traveled to Grand Junction, Colorado to dedicate the new temple. He was often known for his compassion and his powerful sermons.
May we cry out then the louder, Jesus, thou Son of David, have mercy on me. I promise with apostolic fervor and prophetic conviction that he will hear you.
Before becoming a full-time general authority, Holland was the president of BYU for nearly a decade. He was preceded in death by his wife, Patricia, to whom he was married for 60 years. They are the parents of 3 children and grandparents of 13. Again, the funeral will be held this Wednesday starting at 11 a.m. It will be open to the public, and you can tune into KSL TV for the live service right here on KSL TV and on the KSL TV streaming app as well. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Emma, live for us this morning. Emma, thank you for that. Meanwhile, President Oaks offering some heartfelt words for his friend of many decades. He writes in part, quote, he lifted the weary, encouraged the faithful, and bore a powerful witness of the Savior, even through seasons of significant personal trials. And Utah Governor Spencer Cox also offering his condolences this morning. He writes in part, quote, his legacy lives on in the countless lives he touched and the example he set. We take comfort in knowing that Elder Holland is reunited with his beloved Pat. Our prayers are with their family and all who love them. President Holland was a beloved church leader, an iconic speaker whose words resonated with Latter-day Saints around the world. And we spoke to church members gathered near Temple Square about the legacy that he leaves behind.
He was definitely a family favorite. When he came on for conference or talks or anything, there was always a hush to the room, and no matter if you were young or old, I feel like he was like the one size fits all. Like everybody could find something in Holland that they loved.
Again, President Holland's funeral will be on Wednesday, December 31st from 11 in the morning until noon. In other headlines that we're following this morning, the Hurricane Fire Department reminding the public that during active emergency incidents, stay clear of the areas. This comes after crews responded to a fire Sunday morning. A police officer noticing smoke coming from a home. He called it in, and when fire crews arrived on the scene, they found the source was coming from the chimney. The blaze was contained to that chimney, preventing further damage to the home. And in just a matter of hours, the man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk is expected to virtually appear in court. Tyler Robinson is scheduled for a virtual hearing at 10 o'clock this morning. While specifics of that hearing weren't listed, in the case, a judge still needs to rule on media access to this high-profile criminal case. At the center of the argument by the defense, whether live news coverage will interfere with Robinson's right to a fair trial. 2025 was a major year for wildfires across the country, including here in the state. State and federal firefighters responding to more than 1,100 fires this year, but the number of acres burned nearly doubled. Wildfires burned over 160,000 acres across the state in 2025. That's the most since 2020 and more than the last 3 years combined. 2026's fire outlook is uncertain right now. Utah Division of Forestry, Fire and State Land says one of the factors that contributes to an active season is the snowpack. And we know our snowpack has been low so far this winter. It is not expected to peak until April. So we still have our fingers crossed that we will get more snow. We still have time,
yes,
but still.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of snow over the weekend, but you can really see it just didn't impact or help our snowpack situation. Still below 40% or 50% in Weber, Ogden Basin, so only 43% of the average for Provo River. So I wish we get a little bit more snow in here over the coming days. And luckily, there's at least a few chances in our 7-day forecast. Some of the snow we got over the weekend or at the end of last week, 16 inches fell at Brighton, 15 inches of snow at Alta, 10 inches at Powder Mountain, Park City Mountain, and then Snow Basin Resort at the base, about 5 inches. Temperatures right now are cold, 20 degrees in Ogden, 22 right now in Salt Lake, 23 in Moab, and mid-30s in St. George. We have clear and quiet skies to start the day, and that's exactly what we expect to see at the end of the day. Highs will be in the upper 30s, so it's right where we should be for this time of year, but we're already seeing a gradual warm up back in the forecast. We'll talk about how warm it's going to get, as well as our next chance for precipitation coming up in just a bit.
All right, Devin, thanks for that. In other headlines this morning, a former reality star for a show set right here in Utah is now accused of murdering his cellmate just days before he was set to be released from jail. Las Vegas police say 41-year-old Chad Aaron Ollinger was charged after his cellmate was found dead due to blunt force trauma this past Friday. Ollinger has been serving time after being convicted of contempt of court. He was set to be released January 12th. Ollinger has starred in Discovery's show Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch, which takes place in eastern Utah. Since 2024, he's had several run-ins with the law, including an incident where he fled from police in Texas. If convicted on these new murder charges, Ollinger could be sentenced to life in prison. Police are now investigating a shooting in West Jordan. They say several people are now in custody after a home was shot at. That home is located near 77th South and Pando Way. Investigators tell us several rounds were fired. No one was hit. Once again, multiple people, though, were taken into custody. Police say it's a mix of adults and juveniles, but no names have been released so far. Investigators are still working to determine what happened and how each person was connected. 2 men are now facing homicide charges in connection with the murder of a 34-year-old. South Jordan police say that victim, now identified as Alexander Powell, was found with multiple gunshot wounds in the area of 115th South and Cooperstone Drive. On Sunday, the alleged shooter was taken into custody by SWAT in Duchesne County. He's identified as Zachary Prescott. Another man accused of ordering Prescott to fire was arrested on Saturday. He's identified as Kevin Scarborough. Both now face homicide charges. To West Valley City, where police say one person is in custody in connection with a stabbing at a party. According to court documents, 2 people got into an argument that escalated. They say the suspect then grabbed a hammer and hit a man in the back of the head. A woman then tried to step in to stop the altercation. And that's when police say the suspect grabbed a knife and cut the woman's hand and then stabbed the man in the stomach and leg. The suspected stabber admitted to police that he was intoxicated. Both of the victims were taken to the hospital to be treated. Right now, a Davis County woman fighting for her life after she was stabbed by her 29-year-old son. Police say the attack happened during an argument inside their Bountiful home. That son, whose name we are withholding to protect the victim's identity, is facing a charge of attempted murder. According to court documents, the man's father and brother were also home at the time. They jumped in to stop that attack. The suspect allegedly told officers he was not remorseful. At last update, that victim was on life support. Right now, 2 people are fighting for their lives, and a 5-month-old child is in the hospital after a possible DUI crash in South Jordan. This happened Saturday night at 27th West and 114th South. According to police, the driver of that vehicle was speeding and ran through a red light, smashing into another car. His front passenger was ejected and seriously hurt. The child, who was riding in the back seat, was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The driver, now under investigation for DUI, was also taken to the hospital in critical condition. We'll take a look at this scary-looking crash. This happened in southern Utah. A collision in Hurricane Sunday morning caused one vehicle to flip over. 3 people inside that car were able to walk away. A 4th was taken to the hospital. There's no word on that person's condition this morning. The cause of the crash remains under investigation. We have new developments this morning in a fatal crash on Bangor Highway. We now know there were a total of 7 cars involved in this. Utah Highway Patrol telling us a Hyundai Tucson was reported driving recklessly, swerving between lanes at a high rate of speed. For an unknown reason, that car slammed into 6 others that were stopped at the intersection of Bangor and 4100 South. After the impact, the Hyundai caught fire. Another person was able to pull the Hyundai driver out of the car. They were transported by ambulance to a hospital where they were pronounced dead. A driver in another car had to be pulled out by first responders, and that person is currently in critical condition. All other drivers and passengers were treated on the scene. They are expected to be okay. Utah is getting some substantial snowfall. Finally, skiers are saying they're grateful it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, even though, of course, it's a few days late. Little Cottonwood Canyon was packed with skiers and snowboarders ready to shred those slopes. Those KSL spoke with came from as far as Chicago to come ski, but for locals, there was perhaps a benefit to not having a lot of snow.
I've been pretty happy that the traffic has been moderate with a low snowfall, but it's definitely nice to get some precipitation and get out skiing finally.
That congestion returned with a vengeance. This is a look at Saturday. UDOT says it plans to try and reduce congestion up big in Little Cottonwood Canyons with more frequent buses, more parking areas, even making the canyons toll roads to encourage carpooling and bus use. Officials say we're still 2 years from that first phase of those plans being enforced. Well, take a look at this. This is Steep Hollow near Beaver Mountain Ski Resort. The Utah Avalanche Center says that snow is causing some considerably dangerous avalanche conditions on the upper elevation slopes facing northwest and southeast. They say you could trigger an avalanche 2 to 3 feet deep. And they do warn that careful snowpack evaluation, just be cautious on those routes and just be conservative. Those are essential for safe travel down the mountains. Now, since Christmas Eve, the Utah Avalanche Center says Logan area mountains have received between 16 and 20 inches of snow. And Devin, we do know that that snow is desperately needed. We just don't want the avalanches that come with it.
Yeah, of course. And at least it is a beautiful welcome sight. I mean, look at these photos. This one coming in from Ron Rasban on Lone Peak. You can see more photos like this that you send in on our website. So in terms of the storm system that came through Friday and at the end of the weekend, or the Saturday, so over 6/10 of an inch in Riverton. Thank you for moving the camera. 4/10 of an inch in Sandy. In terms of our snowfall, 16 inches at Brighton and about 10 inches at Powder Mountain. Right now, we're at 22 degrees in Salt Lake. You can feel the cold in the air. This is how it should be. And if anything, it's actually a little bit cooler than normal to start. 35 degrees in St. George. We're going to have sunny skies all day long across the entire state, with highs warming into the mid to upper 30s. As you look at the holiday forecast, both New Year's Eve and New Year's Day have highs around 47 degrees. So it's 10 degrees warmer than normal. We'll see increasing clouds on New Year's Day or on New Year's Eve, and then evening temperatures about 44 degrees around 6 o'clock, and then falling into the upper 30s by midnight. New Year's Day, we're tracking a storm to bring some valley rain and mountain snow. It doesn't look like it'll have a lot of moisture with it, but of course we will take what we can get. We'll see the clouds come in on Wednesday ahead of the moisture. It looks like some valley rain and mountain snow could start in southwestern Utah late Wednesday night and then spread northward and kind of stay scattered around the state throughout New Year's Day. Snow levels do look to be a little bit high, about 8,000, 9,000 feet with the storm. We could have some precipitation lingering through about Friday morning, and then by Friday afternoon mixing in some sunshine. And you'll see in the 7-day forecast in just a second here that temperatures are going to continue to warm despite this storm system moving through. So for today, central Utah 39 the high in Nephi, Price, low 40s in Manti and Richfield. Southern Utah, high of 40 in Cedar City, low 40s in Panguitch and Beaver and Moab. St. George will be near 50 degrees today, staying in the low 50s through New Year's Day with a few showers in the forecast there, and then mid to upper 50s through the rest of the 7-day forecast with a chance of rain on Saturday. 35 the high in Logan, 38 in West Valley, 40 in Heber City. The rest of the Wasatch Front again will be in the mid to upper 30s today, 37 the high in Park City. We are going to warm into the low 40s tomorrow with sunshine, 47 on Wednesday and Thursday. Again, valley rain, mountain snow possible on New Year's Day as well as Sunday. You can just see red numbers are back in the forecast. So seasonable today, but already tracking more than or above normal temperatures.
All right, Devin, thanks for that. Home prices in Utah are rising steadily. Advocates say the demand for affordable housing is only expected to go up in the years to come. But right now, one Cedar City builder is trying to get creative to keep those prices low.
So in terms of cutting costs, we do that currently by having a very tight-knit small team. So we all are just willing to get dirty, get in the mud, and take on whatever task is assigned to us.
Temple View Commons Director Jared Granum says that the goal here with these small teams is to make home ownership affordable and attainable to most home buyers while keeping quality high. Governor Cox has called for 35,000 new starter homes to be built in Utah by 2028. While the governor admitted that the state had a long way to go to that, he remained optimistic about the situation and the potential for interest rates to continue to go down. In other consumer headlines this morning, you may want to start to see fewer Starbucks shops around, or you could see fewer. The chain says it's now shrinking its presence in major U.S. cities. Starbucks says it plans to close about 400 locations, mostly in large metropolitan areas. It's already closed dozens of storefronts, including 42 shops around New York City alone. That is due to rising competition in saturated areas, remote work, and higher costs. The company says it will now focus on fewer, stronger locations and new designs starting in the new year. And once the holidays are over, many Americans experience that holiday debt hangover, and you may already be feeling the financial stress mounting. So if you feel like that, you should first assess the damage. Know exactly how much you owe and where. Next, you should pause your discretionary spending and return unwanted items for refunds. Then think about a repayment strategy that works for you, and if needed, consider a debt relief program. Restaurants' hottest menu items in 2025 were value items. Experts say that's not going to change in the new year. Restaurants like McDonald's and Taco Bell leaned into value meals in 2025 to win back those budget-conscious diners, while other chains like Chipotle, they're trying to avoid discounting and they're focusing on quality. With economists aren't expecting any sudden improvements in the economy right now, costs still continue to rise. Restaurants will have to choose between preserving their profit margins or holding on to their customers. The travel industry has been shifting as of late. Here are 5 of the biggest trends experts say could shape this next year. Travelers are increasingly avoiding peak seasons and heavily visited destinations. More people are booking all-inclusive travel to avoid the headache of planning. Many are booking wellness travel, and they see it as a long-term health investment. Younger travelers are seeking vacations that take them down memory lane, wanting to kind of recreate their childhood trips. More travelers are turning to AI to help book their trips and hotels. Many post-holiday travelers face weather delays and dangers today. Storms spawning along an eastern cold front are affecting tens of millions of people right now. Much of the Northeast is dealing with severe snow and ice storms. In the Midwest today, forecasters warn blizzards are a concern. The FAA says Chicago O'Hare Airport had a ground stop on Sunday. That was due to tornadoes, and utilities report more than 100,000 recent power outages in the region.
The ice is our main concern. I know temps are supposed to warm up. Ground temps are still cold.
Aware is reporting about 10,000 U.S. flight delays, 800 cancellations. That was on Sunday. So far today, there have been more than 1,200 delays and more than 400 cancellations nationwide. All right, speaking of storms, take a look at this. This is video from Chopper 5 that was shot shortly after this weekend's storms rolled through the Salt Lake Valley. It brought along cooler temperatures and several inches of long-awaited snow in those canyons. And because of the snow, it was a milestone moment at Deer Valley. The resort was finally able to open the first of its brand new lifts. The East Village Gondola and the Pinion Express chairlift welcomed their first ever guests Saturday as part of Deer Valley's expanded terrain for the 2026 season. I can only guess how many people were in line for those.
Yeah,
you know, that's bragging rights if you get like the first person to ever be on that lift.
Yeah, that would be sick. And I'm glad that there was snow to come with the opening.
That too, yes.
Yeah, and the cold came in as well. I mean, temperatures right now, 20 degrees in Ogden, 22 in Salt Lake. And again, thinking about back to last week, we had record warmth for several days. We have clear skies to start. We will have sunny skies through the rest of the day today. Highs will be in the upper 30s in Salt Lake, and then highs near 40 or 50 for St. George. St. George will stay in the low 50s through New Year's Day. We'll see a storm bring some valley rain and mountain snow late Wednesday night into Thursday, and then after that, temperatures stay warm in the mid to upper 50s. For the Wasatch Front, red numbers quickly return after a couple seasonable days. We'll have some valley rain and mountain snow roll through northern Utah on New Year's Day, and then we're also watching another chance for some precipitation to come through on Saturday. That would be mostly across the northern parts of the state, but highs again in the low 50s, staying on that warmer trend, unfortunately.
All right, thanks, Devin. Hey, are you looking for something fun to do today? Join KSL Television and KSL News Radio for a special family day at Titanic the Exhibition happening in Sandy. You can experience the history, see the artifacts, and enjoy some kid-friendly activities. Buy your tickets now on KSLTV.com and use the promo code KSL25 for 25% off of your tickets. After 21 years wearing red, Kyle Whittingham, now dressed in blue, he is officially a Wolverine. The former University of Utah head football coach is now at the University of Michigan. At 66 years old, Whittingham has a 5-year contract serving as head coach at Michigan. Well, BYU may not have made it to the college football playoffs, but they ended their season with the title of the People's National Champions. With a win against Georgia Tech 25-21 with just seconds left in the game, the Cougars were praised on social media for their strong season, ending with 12 wins for the first time since 2001. And of course, the famous Pop-Tarts going viral as they celebrated the Cougar win. They enjoyed Pop-Tart treats from both the toaster inside the trophy and the giant toaster on the field. There was a lot of Pop-Tarts eating going on after that win. Well, Syracuse Junior High's resource officer helping warm tummies and hearts this week by recognizing local crossing guards. And to keep the Christmas spirit alive, Officer Beam here sharing a hot chocolate with crossing guards as a thank you for keeping students safe who are headed to and from school. So you can see here, she was even seen with Mrs. Claus near Cook Elementary. Davis School District says this moment highlights everyday heroes who make schools welcoming and safe places for students. Thanks so much for joining us on this segment of KSL News Now. We leave you with a look to Salt Lake City as you wake up on this Monday morning. We're 2 days away from New Year's Eve. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us.